All right. Does this picture look familiar to anybody? You know what this is? Okay, cool. It's the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the most popular and most puzzling monuments throughout history. Now, what comes to mind when you look at this? Maybe mummies, pharaohs, artifacts? Those are all great responses. That's because this, as all the other pyramids, was built to serve as a tomb for all the greatest of pharaohs. But there is a question that's been lingering around for a while, at least in my head, and that's why. This pyramid took years to build with almost a superhuman amount of effort. So what was so important about it that the Egyptians spent so much time and energy on it? Maybe that's because it's not a tomb at all. What if I told you that the Great Pyramid of Giza was actually built to serve as an electrical power plant? It's crazy. That's what I thought. Also, what if I told you there's a sufficient amount of evidence to prove this? Now, I haven't been to the pyramids before myself, but I have done a great deal of research on this, and I would like to share that information with you all today. In a 1999 peer-reviewed article by Norman Cohen, published by Skeptics Society and Skeptics Magazine, he states that there exists factual evidence that the Great Pyramid was built to serve as a multifunctional and extremely powerful energy system. Now, in order to understand the true purpose of the pyramids, we have to first realize that inside there's no evidence of a tomb at all. And then secondly, the pyramid took too much time and too much energy for it just to be a tomb. And the construction of the pyramid was too concise for it to be anything but a power plant. So, if everybody is ready, why don't you step onto my magic school bus and let's take a trip back in time. So, we were told that the pyramids were built to serve as tombs. Well, if that's the case, where is it? Where is the tomb? When looked inside, there's no evidence of a tomb at all. There's no wall art, no significant artifacts, and most importantly, no mummy. I thought we were told the pharaohs were buried with all their worldly possessions. Well, if that's the case, and this pyramid being the greatest of all, Khufu's pyramid, why didn't it come with any of these artifacts or any pharaohs? Let's take a look at some facts. So, I don't know about you all, but I find it very hard to believe that the Egyptians spent all of this manpower just to build a tomb. According to author Gerald C. A. Fonte's 2007 book titled Building the Great Pyramid in 1 Year, an Engineer's Report, it is stated that the Great Pyramid is made up of 2,500,000 stone blocks weighing 3 to 30 tons each. From base to height, there's about 210 layers of stone block, and there's about a base area of 592,000 square feet, and the sides have an area of about 218,000 square feet each. And all this is built during the 23-year reign of Khufu, which is about the pace of having 20,000 workers arriving every single day, working all day for every single one of those years. But this is where things really get interesting. In 1934, an archaeologist discovered a Parthian battery in Iraq, which is discovered to be from ancient times. Now, a Parthian battery is a ceramic pot with a copper tube and metal wire inside, and when filled with liquid acid, it produces an electric charge. And from this discovery, scientists went back and looked at ancient Egyptian carvings and discovered that there was, in fact, evidence of ancient Egyptian use of electricity. So, from this, let's take a look back at the pyramid. The outside of the pyramid used to be cased in limestone, which in turn enabled to reflect sun rays. And on the inside, we can see flawless insulation and walls lined with dolomite, a mineral known to increase electrical conductivity. And underground tunnels are lined with granite, and inside of those granite contain metal quartz crystals that generate piezoelectricity. And in a recently uncovered room dubbed the Queen's Chamber, the scientists, when looked inside, they found not the missing mummy, but instead copper wire and wiring diagrams and instructions. And in this sealed, windowless room, it gave it the opportunity for a powerful release of electromagnetic energy. Now, if we look at this map, you can see that the pyramids were built right on the west bank of the Nile. Most of the pyramids back then were built on top of underground rivers. And in a 2002 peer-reviewed article by Underground Tunneling Technologies by author S.E.A. Salem, we can conclude that inside there was a 20 by 30 foot basin from which underground canals would go out. So from this information, we could look at capillary action, which is the effect of water flowing upward against gravity into extremely narrow spaces. And from this, we can deduct that the water could have slid from the underground rivers up the limestone surface, and in this, its movements would generate vibrations, which would cause the metal quartz crystals to generate piezoelectricity. And this would slide all the way to the top, where sat a capstone made entirely of gold, which would transfer ions to the ionosphere. Now, I know I've thrown a lot of information at you all today. We've broken down Khufu's pyramid, the inside, the construction of it, and when looked inside, Khufu wasn't there at all. but instead a complex system of electrical casing. So, next time you visit Egypt and you want to go to the pyramids, make sure not to bring any metal with you. Hopefully the Egyptians were smart enough not to wear their jewelry inside. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
What about the theory that tomb robbers got to the pyramids before and that's why there's nothing inside?
About that, I'm not a tomb robber. I don't know what tomb robbers do, so I don't know if they would have been able to get it out that quickly with that much effort, because I don't know what the exactly, sarcophagus, that's what they're called. Those were extremely heavy, so if grave robbers would come in there, I don't know exactly what kind of contraptions they would use, but that is a great theory. I will look into that as well, but yeah, there has to be some pretty strong guys.
All right.
Were there any other historical buildings or figures that we have that may have also similar implications? Like, for example, the pyramids. Are there any other ones that you know of?
There's not any that I know of, but actually, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but now I'm gonna look that up. Because I looked this one up, so I might as well figure out which other ones there are. Yeah. Are we good? Good.